Hey, what's going on, model building fans? It's Brian, and welcome back to another iteration of Why Did I Keep This Wednesday? So, this guy here, his big claim to fame is twofold, as a matter of fact, because, um, well, threefold if you want to get technical, but this is the first car I ever did that has a two-tone paint job to it. And it's also the very first car I ever did a clear coat on, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But I say this has a two-tone paint job because we painted the green on there, of course. And no, this isn't a factory correct sublime color. This was actually a color I got from the place I was working at. I was delivering auto parts out of the city of Portland, Oregon at the time. And we had automotive paint there, a whole rack of automotive paint that just wasn't moving. So every once in a while, I'd swing a deal with one of the counter workers and I'd buy a can of paint. And I got this one here, and this was actually engine block paint, so it's rated for about 700 degrees. So it's kind of nice to know that this model kit, the paint job will be protected up to about 700 degrees. The plastic well below that will be destroyed, but hey, at least the painted shell will still be good. But yeah, we actually did this guy in a two-tone. I say that because we masked off and painted the hood a flat black color. And I think that was just like the Walmart rattle can black, flat black paint. This is all enamel. But and it did take quite a while, if I recall correctly, for this to gas off. And I believe I made this in I'm going to say 2010. 2009, 2010. So it's been that long. I was part of the OHMS Scale Model Car Club at the time, which is now known as the OMS Model Car. It's not Model Car, excuse me, IPMS. I apologize. The Saba Car Club is up there too. A good buddy Nick and Jason are part of that group. But right now, of course, we're part of the Mafia now, many years forward. I still have this guy, and he moved from Oregon down here with me, and I've kept him in as good a shape as possible. And I mentioned a little bit ago that this is the very first car we did a clear coat on. No, it's not the best job you would ever see on a clear coat, and the reason why is I use future floor polish. And I didn't just airbrush it onto the model like a lot of people would do. I actually brushed the future floor plaques onto the model. And I'm trying to get this guy in a way where you can see a little bit like back here by the rear marker. Like, it's not 100% great, a little bit of orange peel, whatever. But yeah, I actually brushed on the floor polish. And I took it to my club meeting when it was finally here. And I put it on a table for the show and tell portion of the meeting. And several of my club members were like, "That's a great looking shine. It was a good rattle can job." I'm like, "This is actually brushed on future." And they were like, they'd take a double take. They're like, "What? Wait, how the hell did you brush that on there?" I'm like, "I just used a brush and brushed it on there, but I made sure it was a little bit on the thin side." How I thinned it, I do not recall. I do not recall at all. I know I didn't use water, that's for sure. But I might have used a little bit of Windex because it's got an ammonia additive to it that causes the floor polish. Because I mean, if you want to strip something, if it's got the floor polish on it, you use ammonia, right? So I figured probably using Windex would help me brush that on there so it flowed a little better. And it looked great back then, and it's still holding up today, so many years later. Matter of fact, we even got a first place in I think it was street machine category or something like that at one of the IPMS events we had up there. And yeah, I was very proud of this guy. Now, compared to my masking skills today, because I just use regular old masking tape, nothing special from Tamiya or anything like that. Regular old masking tape, masked off the front end there, painted on the black after we did the green. Someplace in my video library, I have photos of this actually being built. I don't know if I'll be able to find those before we get this up before we load this. But yeah, I had a lot of fun building this. I remember distinctly sitting there just working on this guy. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video that this was like almost like a tri-fold deal. The third thing about this that was very memorable for me was that where I was living in Oregon at the time, which was a place called Milwaukee, Oregon, it was also a roller, which is very rare for me to have. Um, there was an old drugstore down around the corner, and from where my apartment was, and I would walk down there on Sunday evenings and get a an ice cream soda or something like that. Right, just walk down there, get my head together, think about the things, spend a little alone time. And they had a big wall of model kits there, and this was one of those kits. And this was the kit that I bought, brought back home, and started building like that night. And I never ever do that. Usually I pull something out of the stash after I think about it for a while. And then this was the first guy I brought back and then started building. Underneath the hood, we were working on or doing some light wiring stuff. And yeah, this color is not correct at all in the very least. But I went ahead and did my very best with the colors I had on hand. Back then I was using a lot of Testors paints, and that's probably a Tester gloss red brush painted on there. I didn't have much place to spray. As a matter of fact, I think I painted the body at work, after work one day. I went out back and painted it. Two-color battery there, and just a little bit of plumbing here and there, just to kind of make things look a little better. I believe the kit came with these radiator hoses, which kind of inspired me to keep going with doing the engine wiring and such. But yeah, I remember building this dude and really enjoying it. Let's take a look at the bottom here. I think that's pretty nondescript. Tip it up on the side. I wonder if that mirror will stay. Oh, my exhaust pipes came off. One of my very first rusting of exhaust pipes there, which I just painted that tester color rust. And there you have it. But I tried to emulate factory overspray, but it's really hard to do with a very high pressure can of rattle can paint when you don't even know what the hell you're doing. So I tried to do some factory overspray and ended up painting the whole underside of the car. So I was like, it's done now. So one shot and we're done. So there we go. The little chin fins up here are lost to history, I guess. We don't have those anymore on both sides, right? Yeah, both sides are gone. But the interior was just flat black with a little bit of gloss for the seats, nothing fancy. I don't even think I painted, yep, I didn't even paint the pistol grip shifter there. That's all chrome still. And I think I did do a little bit of a wood tone on the steering wheel. Yeah, a little bit of a wood tone on the steering wheel, but nothing to write home about. And the gauges, I can tell from here, look like clown faces. So there we have it. But I'm still very, very proud of this old dude because of the clear coat. The fact that I brush painted a clear coat on here and it still looked pretty good. And then being able to buy the kit, take it home and start building it that day. So very, very rare for me today, even to this point. But there we go. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in again for another one of these Why Did I Keep This Wednesdays. I appreciate all the awesome comments we got last week. My goodness, it was such a great video. I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun answering and replying to comments. So thank you very much for those, and hopefully you guys like this one almost as much as the last one. All right, we're going to sign off, and we'll talk to you next one. Bye now. And yes, I did paint the underside of the hood, barely.